The island, mysterious/atmospheric. Last year, I disappeared. Not literally, but close enough. I was 22, burnt out in a way that goes bone deep. The kind of tired where your own life starts to feel like something you're watching through a glass. I needed to vanish for a few days. A coworker told me about a small island off the coast of Maine. The way he described it, it sounded almost deliberately forgotten. No nightlife, no crowds after dark. Most visitors took the ferry over, looked around, and left before sunset. He said if you stayed the night, you'd have the whole island to yourself. That was exactly what I was looking for. I found a cottage rental right on the shoreline, cheap, available immediately. No questions asked. I didn't hesitate. The cottage was small, one room, a bed, a kitchenette no one had ever used, a bathroom barely big enough to turn around in. 3 sides were swallowed by thick brush, branches pressed tight against the walls like something leaning in to listen. The front faced the ocean, dressed in a single thin curtain that let the moonlight bleed right through. The walls were paper thin, and the door had 2 locks, a deadbolt, a chain. Both looked new. That struck me as odd, but I didn't dwell on it. By sunset, the island had emptied. No streetlights, no voices, just the water and the wind moving through the brush like a whisper I couldn't quite make out. I had dinner at a small pub near the ferry dock. The bartender was friendly until I told her where I was staying. She went quiet for a moment, gave me a look I didn't know how to read. On the walk back, I noticed something. A small dock tucked into a rock alcove about 100 yards from the cottage. A single blue motorboat tied there alone. I made a mental note of it, then kept walking. I got back around 10:30, locked the deadbolt, locked the chain. Everything had felt still, until I realized my phone wouldn't charge. Every outlet in the cottage, nothing. My battery was already low. I went to bed, and somehow, I fell asleep fast. Something pulled me out of sleep, I don't know what. But once I was awake, I heard them. Footsteps. On the gravel outside. Slow. Deliberate. With long, patient pauses between each one. Not an animal. I shifted in bed. The footsteps stopped, instantly. The silence that followed was the kind that has weight to it. The kind you feel in your chest. I told myself I'd imagined it. Then they came back. Closer. They moved to the door and stopped. I couldn't breathe. A flashlight beam slid through the curtain and crawled across the ceiling. The door handle moved, slowly, testing, then harder, then banging, heavy, rhythmic. The whole cottage shuddered with each blow. I was out of bed before I knew it, crouched behind the door, bracing for it to give, and then silence. A silence so total it felt like the island was holding its breath. Then a voice. A man's voice. Calm, unhurried, like someone who had all the time in the world. "I know you're in there, Leo." He knew my name. I had never heard that voice before in my life. The footsteps moved away from the door, along the side wall, slow, circling. I tracked him by sound in the dark, around the back, around the front. Again and again. I don't know how long it lasted. Eventually, the steps faded, and then an engine. Small. An outboard motor. It pulled away from the dock and disappeared into the dark water. I didn't sleep again that night. At first light, I went outside. Heavy boot prints circled the cottage multiple times. They led in a straight line toward the dock and ended at the water's edge. The blue boat was gone. Here's what I keep coming back to. Whoever came to that cottage didn't live on that island. They arrived by boat in the middle of the night on the exact night I was there. And they knew my name. I confronted my coworker. He swore he hadn't told a soul. I believed him. I have a complicated past. I'm not surprised someone might want to find me. But how did they know which island, which rental, which night? How long had they been watching before that moment? I never found the answers, and I have no reason to believe it's over. Hashima Island. This happened many years ago. I was a structural engineer at the time, deep into my graduate thesis, concrete degradation in marine environments, dry work on paper. But it opened a door I was not prepared to walk through. That thesis brought me to Japan, to Nagasaki. A professor I'd been corresponding with, Dr. Yamamoto, arranged something remarkable, a research permit, access to Hashima Island. You may not know the name, but you have seen the photographs. A small island off Nagasaki's coast, dense with crumbling concrete towers, apartment blocks half swallowed by salt air and silence. It was once a coal mining colony. At its peak, one of the most densely populated places on the face of the earth. Abandoned in the 1970s, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Tourists come. They walk designated paths. They take photographs. Entering the buildings is forbidden. I had special access. My escort was a man named Tishi. Quiet. Deliberate. He gave me 4 instructions before we stepped off the boat. Stay on designated paths. Do not enter anything marked with red tape. Do not remove anything from the island. And stay within visual range of him. At all times. He said that last part twice. The first few hours were extraordinary, but then something stopped me. Inside one of the buildings there was a path through the dust on the floor. Not random, not scattered. A path, worn down by repeated footsteps. I followed it. The room at the end smelled wrong in a way I still cannot properly describe, and one wall was warm. Warmer than it had any reason to be. I brought Tishi to it immediately. He dismissed it before I finished speaking. No humans live here, he said. No animals either. He would not even look at the wall. That was the moment something shifted in me. Later, deeper inside another building, I found it. Blankets, empty water bottles, evidence. Clear, undeniable evidence of recent human presence. I turned to show Tishi. He was gone. The corridor behind me, empty. When I moved toward the stairs, rubble, freshly disturbed, blocking the way. Then I heard them, footsteps. Not one set, several. Somewhere in the dark above me. I ran, found another stairwell, reached the dock. And there was Tishi, standing calmly by the boat, as if he had never moved. He said nothing, acknowledged nothing. We left immediately. Afterward, I tried to reach Dr. Yamamoto. The calls went unanswered. Then the line disconnected entirely. He had disappeared. I filed a report. I told them everything. No one followed up. No one believed me. And to this day, I do not know who was living on that island, or why Tishi already knew.